Hello, welcome to the DraftCast. The organiser of the draft, both teams to score syndicate, is here with us today. Jack, how is it going?
Hello, Luke. Much better gambling-wise than fantasy-wise, I can tell you.
Pancake day today. Did you have some good pancakes?
I did actually. You know, I'm always been a fan of the thicker American-style pancake, but I've always just, got the normal stuff. And this year I was like, no, you know what? I get the big fluffy ones, and I am now heinously full, but it was real good.
What's your topping of choice?
I'm a big believer in maple syrup and bacon, but because I always get that, I changed it this time, which went for some pretty standard chocolate spread, bit of strawberries, bit of ice and sugar, went ultra sweet.
Yeah, fair enough.
What about yourself?
Yep, just did Nutella this year. But we don't have because I'm still in the process of buying stuff for kitchen, so we only had a pan, but with it's like a wok, but the bit at the bottom is quite a big flat circle. So we didn't have the biggest of pancakes, but no, it's good.
So everybody lines them up nice and neat anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're all the same size.
I see this bit of pancake talk to start the pod. You'd love to see it.
Yeah, well, you've got to mix it up, haven't you?
Hey,
that was not intended at all, but we'll take it.
Landed.
Right, yeah, we'll do our normal stuff, really. We'll look at the league table, chat about what's going on there, have maybe a catch up on the progress of the cup. Then we'll take a look at your team and your segment after that. So, looking at the table, the game week hasn't quite finished. There's a game on at the moment, isn't there, actually, to be fair, but there's quite a few scores to talk about here, I think. What I might do is when the final game week tables finished, I'll put that on for people to see when this goes out, because it'll be the end of the game week. But obviously, what we're talking about, the numbers might be a little bit different, but I think it'll still tie up.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not expecting a big old points haul from Leicester Burnley. I think
the
sheet's probably the most likeliest for both sides. But
so let's start at the top. We've got the top three are sort of really tight.
real tight.
Tolly is making some big moves to catch them up as well, to be fair. He's not that far behind now.
Not at all. He's really hit some form recently. Definitely with Kane starting to bang.
Yeah.
The squad's always been really good on paper. It's kind of that Kane let him down early to start the season, and then a huge week last week. So it shows you that we're strong weeks, and you can kind of throw yourself in there, but people got to get in there now if they're not, because that top three is got a little bit of breathing room.
Yeah. I'm guessing Max probably isn't too pleased with his position at the moment. He's sort of let us all catch him up in the middle. Jim's now on matching points. Yeah,
Jim and Tolly both made some strong headway. Max is faded off a little bit now, coming down to join the rest of us in the mid-table. But yeah, a couple of real strong weeks from yourself and Lawrence as well. And Rich continues to pick up those points. He's doing a lot better now than he was at the start of the season.
Yeah, at this rate, he's not going to be bottom by the end, so he'll be happy with that, I reckon.
Yeah, I definitely can't finish bottom. That would not be a good title defence.
Yeah, I mean, what has he got? You, Max, you and Ben with below 20 at the moment, which is not great, is it?
No, I need a Schmeichel clean sheet to avoid that fate.
Yeah.
It's looking good.
And then we've got Lawrence with a massive 62 at the moment.
Yeah, his is definitely, obviously the standard week. I mean, that wrote down the defence. So you're getting 10 points out of Foster, 7 out of DS, 7 out of Romero, 14 out of Fatty Cash.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, when you're getting 8 points off Kulusevski as well, and it's going to be your week. Yeah, that's a big old score. Doing it all without Ronaldo bagging as well, which is impressive.
Yeah.
And yourself, you must be pleased.
Yeah, I'm happy. Yeah. It looks like I'm through in the cup, which can't complain. I'm just getting
absolutely. Southampton boys have really done you big, and Mings as well. But yeah, Southampton boys, when they do well for you, you're always going to be hard to beat, because you have half the team.
I know, yeah. And we've got a double game week coming up as well, so hopefully the next week's going to be good as well.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. Yeah, that'll be interesting. Now these double game weeks are kind of shaking out a bit. It's gonna kind of that big roll of the dice for people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, really. I think George has an outside shot with his cut tie because it's 9 points, which sounds a lot because Rich has one extra player. But if Rich's 3 players left don't do anything and George's 2 go and get some, can put the pressure on a little bit. And yeah, he's got a chance. But I know that Daka's playing now, so I think T's bench is, if he doesn't go through, is what's killed him. But I mean, yeah, if he knocks out a 64-pointer, then very impressive. But he's got 11 on his bench currently, so he needs Daka to score really, and fairly clean sheet, and he's right there.
Yeah, it could be interesting. So that's quarterfinal 1 is Lawrence and Tolly. Currently, what's that? 62 to 42, not including bonus. And then quarterfinal 2 is George and Rich. Like you said, could be close. And then quarterfinal 3 was myself and Tom. I don't think Tom can catch me unless a miracle happens with the 2 players he's got remaining.
That would be unlucky.
Yeah. He will never let me live that down if that happens.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
And then quarterfinal 4 is Jim and Max. So at the moment, I think
Max is all out. So I think that Jim is the only one that's currently 100% through.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah. So I'm not sure. I can't remember when the next cup week is. I'm not sure if it is the next week or because I know there's another draw to happen to sort out the semi-finals. So
yeah, not from the top of my head. It's an interesting field, very interesting field. There's a lot of people I'd like to win some silverware in there.
Yeah.
What apart from Tom? I know Tom Lawrence won the cup last year, didn't he? Tom and Lawrence?
Yeah.
Any 2 to win on there? Potentially some fresh blood.
Yeah, Jim was asking me at the weekend who I would want to get in the semi-finals. And I really struggled to find an answer, to be honest. At the moment, it's probably it probably is Jim. I'm not sure I can face Tolly and Lawrence if they have weeks like they've been having.
Because I'm not sure how many kind of double game weeks and stuff Rich will get, but you'd want Rich on paper, but he does get hot in the cups.
Yeah. I think Rich, he's been, to be fair, at the bottom, although he's still bottom, but he's over the last 5 weeks, I bet you his form was probably up there compared to everybody else. So
100%. And as well, if Tom does go out, which again looks likely, I mean, it's all the Tolly, but the mid-tablers and down really, so it really is a wide open horse race. Exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting, to be fair. Yeah, it's good. It's what we want from the cup.
Big time. I think the lads that have gone out have just hasn't happened for them. I think George, if he does go out, unfortunately, I mean, I think he had 1 cleanie and that was about it. I think Max, no Chelsea, kind of killed him really. 1 goal, nothing else. But Golinton bagged for him. Which is good. Then I think that with Tom's kind of poor prep, kind of left him in the mud a little bit there. And with Laka, Van Dijk, and 3 of his star players not playing, then the 3 1-pointers, it's always kind of gone really. But,
it's like it didn't look like he really was too concerned about the cup. Maybe he was more focused on the league, which could be, at the end of the season could be the deciding factor. Maybe.
Never know. A historic double potentially on the cards.
Yeah. I'll put up who's gone through on the screen now. So because when this goes out, we'll know, but we don't know right now. So for all of them,
I know. I reckon it's the ones. Jim's going through. You're going through, Rich is going through, and T's going to make a comeback, and he's going to knock off Lawrence, and he's going to go through. There you go. There's your
bold claims. Well, you'll be able to see right now on the screen if that's true or not. So
Nice.
that'd be funny. Right, let's move on and take a look at your team then, shall we? We did this last time you were on, so I think we should do it again.
Yeah.
And I've got a couple of questions for you. And the first one I'm just going to go is like, you got a few injury flags at the moment. What's your plans? Are you looking to dive into waivers, or are you going to wait it out?
I've got some waivers, but I counted up, and I haven't had 11 players play for 16 weeks.
Ooh.
I didn't realise. That's actually crazy.
Yeah.
Because there's been times as well where I've had people back, and they've been like, no flag, no nothing, and they just won't play. Like, Tommy Arsu, he had a flag for a bit, but he hasn't played in God knows how long. Smith Rowe randomly gets dropped everywhere. Obviously, Gray's been injured.
Yeah.
So Maximum, again, he's injury prone, but then again this week, or last week, I think it was, he was out kind of without reason. Or in Joel Ward, he goes out with a mystery injury, misses his double game week that I brought him in for. Tufal, again, which has an operation, he's out. And then, this week there was going to be a challenge. I was missing 2 Chelsea players, 2 Arsenal players, and Grealish come back from injury, and Armstrong doesn't really play. So, dip into waivers. My plan now is I'm hoping that everyone gets fit and the players I have catch fire, really. Might go for a Hail Mary trade in a few weeks and see what happens. But I think I'm kind of on the beach sipping cocktails now, really.
Oh no.
It's a big old ass to come charging back. But
my next question was going to be, what's your plan to come back to the top half of the league? But
you never know. I've got to have like what Tolly's had, really 2 like massive weeks, suddenly get to within kind of like 50 odd, but 120 odd back, I think. It's like the players I have the potential to go nuts. Like Gallagher's one of the top point scorers. Grealish, to be fair, really hasn't done a lot kind of second half of the season so far. Foden's good point scorer. If Jimenez and St. Maximin can stay fit and play every week, there's like potential points there. And Smith Rowe has scored when he plays, but then he's so hit and miss that I've learned many a lesson in terms of my draft strategy next year at the least. But we'll fight to the end. I reckon there's a late surge in me at some point.
Okay, that's what we want to hear.
A fighting talk.
Yeah. I've not got any other questions actually at the moment.
No, unfortunately, this year I'm not exactly your hot ticket guest when it comes to discussing my squad.
Yeah,
I just like it. I'm looking at it now. I'm just like, how is this not doing very well?
Yeah, it's
I put
unfortunate.
so much emphasis on making sure I had 3 good strikers at the start of the year. That was like my number 1 draft policy. And I've got 1 point between 3 of them, and my first choice draft pick is now banging in goals for Barcelona. So,
yeah, that's not good.
Bit of a failure to launch, but we'll hit form at the right time. We'll do a bit of smack talking for the run in, get some excitement going, and then we'll see what happens.
All right, sounds good to me. Okay, let's go to your segment. That's what we all want to hear. What you've brought for us this time.
Cool. So this is FPL Future Finds. Basically, with this part of the season, as I've kind of touched on, I do have one eye on the future and next season. But as well, it's that really exciting time of the year for if you're a fan of a championship football club, because it's crunch time, it's running, and it's always tight at the top. So I thought I'd take a look at some of the promotion chasers who could be bringing some new players to the draft next year, and surveying what we have. We'll start us off so here's the table, and this kind of sums it up really. It's like this every year, but you've got usually a couple of teams that are pretty looking good at the top. So Fulham and Bournemouth, no surprises there. Fulham potentially coming back again.
Yeah.
Then between that 3rd place and 10th, there's only 8 points in it, which is 10-ish games to go. Is more than doable if your team catches fire. And I'm not just saying that as commentary at 10th. But it's like this every year. I just thought it'd be quite interesting to take a look at this and kind of select one player from each of the 10 spots. And I've tried to mix it up a little bit. It can obviously be difficult. Like, do you trust players to do it in the Prem?
Yeah.
And when they're coming from the Championship, like, who are because so much value can be found draft wise, and if you do get on that star player from a promoted side, kind of before anyone else sees it, and often it can be 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks before anyone realizes and picks up these players. I mean, when Sheffield United came to the Championship, if you got their kind of fullbacks or defenders, it's an absolute bargain. And obviously, it can happen with goal scorers and stuff too. So yeah, thought I'd run it through, starting with first placed and going down to Cov, and hopefully dig out a few nuggets and a few familiar faces as well.
All right, let's go.
So first one, and he has been in the Prem before a couple of times. Mitrovic. He was drafted and touted to be kind of a good striker last time, but it didn't really happen for him. However, he is currently having an outrageous season because he's already broken the record for the amount of goals scored in a championship campaign.
Wow.
That graphic down there is already out of date. I think it came out last week, maybe. He's broken the record and he's still got about 10 games left. He's just entering into his prime. I think Fulham are going to be better this next year. I think they're pretty much definitely coming up. But I think that Scott Parker, sorry, not Scott Parker. Oh God, I just drawn a blank on the manager that's taken over them. Anyway, it's by the by. I think they're a lot more kind of a solid option than they were previously. And this guy is literally their heartbeat. He's their everything. So this is definitely one that will be on my waivers next year. I mean, yeah, 34 goals in 31 games is insane.
Yeah.
But yes, that's who my Fulham pick would be. Harry Wilson is another one, their central midfielder, really good set piece taker. Got about 10 goals and 8 assists, I think. So that could be another one to watch. Another former FPL player. Another one that hasn't really done it in the Prem properly, and he's had a bit of time, but he was young. It's Dominic Solanke, 20 goals so far this season. Again, a player that's still young, and he is their talisman striker for a side that, again, I think will be. I'll be surprised if they didn't come up. To be honest, I think they've got the money. They've got a good squad. They're good going forward. Best defense in the league, I believe. So I'd be a shocked if they fell off now. They're hitting form. But yeah, this lad, I think, I don't think he's an out and out banker like Mitrovic, but in the pretty barren striker market, sometimes he's definitely someone that I'd have as my second choice striker. I think he could be a good value pickup in the mid to late rounds if he lasts that long.
Yeah.
Now, this one, Huddersfield, who is hitting third. Lee Nichols is probably not someone I predicted I'd be touting as a fantasy football pickup when I started this exercise. However, when you're looking for keepers, often the value comes from ones that make plenty of shot saves. Now, newly promoted sides, as you know, will have plenty of shots to be saving, but Huddersfield have a very good defensive record. He's keeping 42% clean sheets in the league. So if you combine that with probably they've got a good defence, like one of the best, I think it's second best in the league. But also that step up is going to mean they've got more shots and stuff against them. If this guy can keep up his form this year, I think he's definitely one of those kind of lower end value keepers you can get, and he might surprise a few people and be a bit of a Nick Pope. Make lots of save points, maybe some clean sheets.
Fair enough. It's not always good to see a goalkeeper being touted on the ones to watch, I think.
Oh yeah, I was looking at it, I was like, I can't just have strikers, even though, to be fair, because we need strikers so badly, you could make that list, but it doesn't quite work like that. But yeah, a keeper tip for everyone. I mean, I'm sure I'll be ridiculed for this if they do he's rubbish, but stand by it. Now, this was one of my favourite ones, Ben Brereton Diaz. So it's Blackburn looking real good, and I like this club. He's another young lad. 20 goals in 30 games, same as Solanke, takes penalties. And some will know the interesting wrinkle about this guy is he was actually formerly known as Ben Brereton. He discovered that he had Chilean heritage. Basically decided, right, I want to go and play international football. So took on his international heritage and became Ben Brereton Diaz.
Right.
And since he's done it, he has been an absolute revelation. So you can see in the bottom right-hand corner here, that as Ben Brereton before the season, 133 games, 17 goals, 416 minutes per goal, 2 shots per 90 minutes, and a 10% conversion rate.
Right.
Since becoming Ben Brereton Diaz, he's had 30 games, he scored 20 goals, 134 minutes per goal, 2.7 shots per 90, and a 24.4% shot conversion.
Turned it on.
Oh, literally, he's turned on the heat, found his Chilean sauce, and is now just weird Chilean English Blackburn striker. And I really want him to come in the Prem because he's definitely someone I'd like on the nudes next year.
Yeah. That's quite a funny story, to be fair. It's cool.
Pretty crazy. He scored in his Chilean debut as well, and I'm pretty convinced that he's celebrating, and pretty much no one in the change rooms have been speaking English. I'd be surprised if he could speak Chilean. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
It was just an interesting dynamic. This young lad from Blackburn going off to play for Chile. Another one here. So QPR again doing well in the playoffs, sitting there at 5th. It's been a while since they've been in, actually. Well, not a bad club to have in. But this lad, interestingly enough, is Joe Willock's younger brother.
Right.
He's a current Newcastle player. And another one is quite young, 24. Forward, he hasn't scored. He scored 7 goals, so not a bad return, but it's more the value you get in here from the assists as well. So he's had 17 goal involvements in 32 games, which is pretty good going.
Yeah.
He's definitely the way. If QPR came up and I was looking at someone, it would definitely be him.
Pretty clean player as well. Only 1 yellow card.
Exactly, and they all matter because all my players as well this year seems to just love getting random yellow cards. So. Yeah, once I just thought it was cool as well that he's his younger brother. I hadn't really heard of him before this season, but he's been
That'd be interesting if they play against each other, wouldn't it, in the Prem?
That would be good, actually. Yeah. Now, this lad, Harry Cornick, Luton Town, so they're occupying the last spot in the playoffs, and his stats don't scream off the page to you. There is another Luton guy that's actually scored more. This lad plays a bit of like a midfield attack forward hybrid, but I think if they do come up, he'll be listed as a forward, I imagine. 8 goals and 3 assists, not a bad return. Only 26 matches as well, so a bit fewer. But he's in there because when I think I've seen about 4 or 5 commentary games this year. I had a busy day at work. I went all the way to Luton from London after to watch Cov with my dad. We were doing really well. I think we were 3rd at the time, and we were 4-0 down at half time, and this bloke had scored 2 and was absolutely destroying us.
Really?
So even if he's not actually that good, I've decided that he is amazing because he was incredible that night. And Luton are a good story. They've got by far the lowest budget in the league. They're currently sat in the last position of the playoffs, and when they played really well against us. We were exceptionally bad, but that'd be a really fun story if they came up.
All right.
Sheffield United 1 spot out. Jayden Bogle. So this lad has played it before in the Prem. The season they went down. There's a bit of kind of a not a whole lot going on, but that old kind of Sheffield United good defence has come back into fruition. 56% clean sheets. They're really good defensively. This lad's got 3 goals. He's got an assist or 2 as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're looking at potentially one of those promoted sides to have a pretty stingy defence, I'd pick Sheffield United. And if you're doing that, go fullback. And this lad's young and is looking good. He's played well this year. 18 games, three goals, only 12 conceded. Yeah, I think I'd be looking at him for one defensively. And how much you trust the promoted defences is another question.
But sometimes you got to have, when you've got 12 people, you end up having 1 or 2 from those teams, don't you?
Oh, exactly. So. I think it's always good to have an idea, even if you bring them in for a little run of fixtures here and there.
Yeah.
Now, this lad is one of my, I almost don't want to give him away because he's one of my secret picks if Middlesbrough go up, because I remember him, he used to play for, I think it was United many years ago. Yeah, I think it was United. But Middlesbrough, again, quite a good stingy defence. They're 8th in the league. He's got a really good chance going up still. Just coming into his prime probably. But as you'll see, he has 4 goals and 2 assists and 1 penalty. And that's because he plays centre-back mostly, but does have spells playing in midfield as well.
Right.
And I'm very, very sure he'll be listed as a defender. Last year he had about kind of 7 goals and I think 5 or 6 assists as well. So he is deployed kind of as a bit of a hybrid between that defence and midfield. When he doesn't just sit in front of the back 4. He has got a little bit about him. So that would definitely be one that I mine up as those, because those defenders or listed defenders that play midfield are absolute gold dust. I mean, rest in peace, John Lundstrom. He had an incredible season that year. That was a great year.
Yeah.
But yeah, Paddy McNair, John Lundstrom. Heard it here first. And Johnson, this is for Forest. I don't think Forest will go up. But this lad, really young, really exciting. He got 10 goals, 5 assists. He plays, I think he'd probably be listed as a midfielder because he's an attacking midfielder, but they play him attacking midfielder or out wide as well. So they might list him as one of those winger forwards, which is a bit annoying. But he's absolutely live wire, 20 years old, 10 goals, 5 assists already. He's one that is definitely on the up. Yeah, and out of any of those players, they've got, to be fair, I don't trust their defence they've got, but they've got Jed Spence as well, who's a really good player. But I don't think I'd have any Forest defenders if I went up. They went up. And here's the boy. Couldn't leave here without getting my COD plug in. Our big Swede, Victor Gyökeres, 12 goals, 4 assists in 32 games. I could have picked a handful of COD players here, actually. But this lad is really good. It's really weird. We had him on loan from Brighton a couple of years ago, and I thought he was absolutely crap. He was rubbish. And we signed him permanently, and I was like, why have we done that? And then this season, he's been unbelievable. Him and Matty Godden up for an absolute banging in the goals. He scored so many late winners for us. And I think that because of his age, he'd be the one striker if I was going to go on from the Cov boys. But I do have to give a few honourable shouts out. Gustavo Hamer as well could be one, our Brazilian that's a very good player, and Callum O'Hare too, former villain, but he saw the light and came to Coventry where he's shone. And now Villa's best 2 exports will be playing in Sky Blue next year. Grealish and O'Hare in the Premier League against each other, playing for the title. So it's going to be really exciting. But yeah, that's just a few little ones to watch. I don't want to give away my full book of secrets because, as I said, I may be half on the beach this year, but Revenge tour next year is going to be furious. Yeah,
it'll be good. So how does the playoffs work then? So there's how many teams? Is that to get the 3rd spot to come up?
Yeah. So you have the first 2 go up automatically.
Yeah,
for 1 and 2, and then 3 to 6 they'll be in the playoffs. So they play 2 legs. So 6th will play 3rd, 4th will play 5th, 2 legs, and then you go to final for 1. And the Championship playoff final is always my favourite game of the season to watch, outside of maybe the Champions League final, because it just means so much to these clubs. Because so 1, to get into the Prem itself is great. 2, it's a cup final, finishing 3rd effectively, but also it's considered like the most lucrative game in football worldwide because of all the money and TV deals you get for being in the Prem. But then even if you get relegated straight away, you'll then get a load of parachute payments and stuff. So it sets clubs up for the next kind of.
It's mad, isn't it, that you could finish 3rd in the table, but then not go up because you don't get through the playoffs. That is mad.
Oh yeah, I think we finished when we went up from the League 2 playoffs. We finished 6th or 5th. It's you're that team that gets a lot of the time. The teams that finish 3rd don't end up making it because they're trying so hard to finish 1st or 2nd.
Yeah,
they feel a little bit of a letdown when they don't get there and they're in the playoffs. Whereas if you're that team that's kind of 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and you make a late run and form's on your side and you get into the playoffs and you're red hot and you're unbeaten in your last 5 and you're thinking, oh great, how did we get here? You're actually a really, really tough team to beat because your tail's up and you think, oh, we're playing with house money now. I mean, what does it matter? Let's go for it. Whereas teams that finish 3rd are a bit down the dumps. But yeah, really interesting. And yeah, I'd recommend anyone now onwards, if you've got a free minute. I know you watch a lot of football, but any of the games they chuck on Sky now for the Championship, I'd get your eyes on them because 1, you'll learn a few things for next year, but 2, some of the games at the end of the season, the Championship, are just absolute carnage.
I'll have to keep an eye out. That's good. It's a good idea. It's good. A good few ones to watch for everybody. The draft is always chaos anyway, isn't it? So, but it's good to have a few.
I'm already excited for draft day. It's always a favourite. There's always some rude pickups, but I just really enjoy getting really animated and angry about picks that we just do not know how we're going to turn out. It's one of my favourite things to do in the world. So that's rubbish. How could you? How have you taken Kepper in the 2nd round?
Yeah.
There's nothing better. There's nothing better because no one can prove you wrong at the time, and then by the time you are proved wrong, everyone's kind of forgotten about it.
Yeah, that's true. That's good. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, no, I enjoyed that. It was something a bit different. I don't think we've really done that before. So no, thanks for that. Thanks for bringing in another segment. I don't know how you lot keep coming up with different segments, and yeah, it's good.
It's quite funny. You find yourself walking down the street, and I'll be thinking, I'll be like, we should really think of a segment. And then the minute I try and think of one, never comes. And then one day I'll just be walking out and be like, of course, how did I not think of this before?
Yeah.
Top 10 championship players to watch for next year, obviously.
Yeah, no, it's good. I like it. So who do you think will go up then?
I think Fulham and Bournemouth. I just think at the start of the season, they were always the two that were going to be hard to beat. It's got such big budgets and good quality players. The playoff team's a tricky one. The playoff team's a really tricky one. I think that Huddersfield look good, but I don't like ever picking that third place team.
Yeah.
I think that Blackburn's a really, really tough out. Blackburn have been really good all year. They've just come off a bit of a bad run as well, but they're kind of still quite solid in there. But I mean, obviously, I can't not say Cov, so it has to be Cov. It has to be, just because I want it to happen so much.
Yeah,
I would be so unbearable if we were in the Prem next year and got to play Villa and won.
Oh God,
the best day of my life.
That would be hilarious. You have to make sure if you go that you're not stood with Adam and Will.
Oh God, yeah.
I don't know if it'd be better or worse if you were.
I definitely did. I shouldn't be in the Villa end. I think I wouldn't make it out if we won. I think I'd be taken out.
Yeah. All right. No, cheers for that, Jack. I think we'll wrap it up. Yeah. If you've got any others ones to watch and you feel like letting us know, leave a comment down below. And but if you're not, just leave us a like instead. That would be good. Or subscribe as well. But yeah, thanks for coming on, Jack. That was good.
All the welcome, and I won't let anyone else know this, but I do want you to win the cup.
Cheers.
Don't tell anyone,
yeah, no, I'd quite like to. I would quite like to. I'm not until I see who I've got in the semi, I'll be thinking, right, how serious do I take this?
Yeah, you need some good fortune after last year, so I'm sure many people are rooting for you.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm excited though. I think all the cup games have been, other than minor times, it looked quite tight. So
we're going to have some really good semis.
I think so. Yeah.
Final, I think.
So yeah, we'll leave it there. Thanks for coming on again, Jack. We'll talk to you again next time. And yeah, as always, this is the DraftCast. And remember, draft is life. See you next time.